Alex Pereira is the deadliest striker in UFC, but in his 20s, he was throwing empty bottles of alcohol, not punches. They call him Poatan, hands as hard as rocks, but if you've seen his knockouts, you know that's not just a nickname, it's a warning. His punches have put world-class fighters to sleep, but what makes him truly terrifying is that his power is not just in his hands. His leg kicks are so hard that they would drop an elephant like he did against Yuri Prochazka. However, he is not the hardest hitter because he hits like a rock. There are two basic things any fighter needs to have checked to be the best striker in the world potentially, but at first, even Alex didn't know he needed something besides his talent to become the best until his first coach gave him a reality check. In one of his recent fights against a very well-prepared fighter, Khalil Roundtree, Alex was analyzing his opponent for 3 whole rounds by giving him lots of opportunities to attack while he was saving as much energy as possible. He is the hardest hitter because of his ability to study the opponent during the fight. Therefore, Khalil got tired in the 4th round, which was a perfect opportunity to target the weaknesses that Alex had analyzed in the past rounds. That's why he basically locked in and utterly dominated his opponent. The fight was over when Alex landed 2 body shots right before landing a devastating uppercut. This fight proves what kind of a calculated fighter he is, with hands made of rocks. But the most interesting part is that whenever he seems to be losing, like in his first fight against Yuri Prochazka, he still manages to find the perfect opening to land a knockout hit at the perfect moment. However, we would never have seen his exceptional striking skills if he hadn't changed his life by winning against the toughest opponent in his 20s. Alex Pereira used to be an alcoholic from the age of 12. The reason is that he was living a poor life and had to work at a tire shop with an environment full of drunk people. But when he turned 22 years old, he decided to start going to the kickboxing gym for the first time in his life to use it as a distraction from drinking too much. At first, quitting the addiction was going smoothly, but he still had strong urges to drink and therefore couldn't resist the temptations despite his new fighting life. However, everything changed when his kickboxing coach noticed something different in him that could help him get rid of the alcohol from his system and also change his life and career forever. That change is something that has made Alex Pereira a true champion and the most feared striker. Instead of struggling to escape his reality, he is now the man shaping it. The streets and tire shops of his past have been replaced with arenas filled with his loyal fans. Once powerless against his addiction, he now holds power over some of the most dangerous fighters in the world, thanks to his hard work and talent that justifies the name Poatan. But what exactly was the change that transformed him from a lost alcoholic fighter into the UFC's most feared, hardest striker, and also the biggest superstar of the sport? It all happened during a sparring session against an experienced fighter when he was still a beginner in the sport. During the fight, Alex was going full attack mode without considering his cardio or opponent's movements. He was solely focused on randomly hitting him with the stone hands that always used to work in street fights. However, reality is different from the streets. So, after a total defeat, his coach noticed something in Alex that showed where he could go despite his reckless fighting style. That's right, the coach saw that no matter how hard he was getting hit during the sparring session, he was still getting back up angrier and thirsty for revenge. That was the moment when Alex realized what kind of potential he had that could never be achieved without quitting alcohol and other distractions. Therefore, Alex showed that he had the heart of a true fighter at that moment. However, the problem was that he didn't know how to use both his anger and talent to his advantage. So, after years of dedicated and brutal training, he has learned how to show his anger during a walkout, analyze his opponent's movements calmly, and finally choose the perfect moment to land a knockout hit, no matter how many hits he has taken. But would Pereira's power be just as deadly in heavyweight, or would he finally meet his match?